Welcome to another episode of What I Learned from Bobby Hemmit. This is a decoding of Twilight Zone. The episode is called The Shadow Man. Pay attention, shadow. I'll just jump right in and say that Bobby, according to his research, when the word shadow is referred to or used, it is a metaphor for melanin. It means they are talking about melanin or some quality of melanin. Now, let's think about something here. There was something else I was going to say. Shadow, this is called Shadow Man. And I want to tell you something I learned in Islam from someone that just happened to tell me something about Judgment Day. He said that Allah is going to come back and he is going to kill the people that do not have a shadow over their head. That is factually in the Quran. When that person said that to me, I knew right away they're talking about melanin. The truth of the universe is that when we have this so-called Judgment Day, and I say so-called because what can you really call that day? I guess it is going to be Judgment Day, but not in the way that you've been told. It is going to put a stop to the powers that control the world because there's nothing that can stop them except a higher power. So anyway, I was like, wow, I just learned something very amazing that connects right to what I learned from Bobby Hemmit. And another thing that Bobby's research says, he refers to an author named H.P. Blavatsky. Her first name is Helen, but always they say H.P. Blavatsky. And she, in her occult books, she talks about it's her books are called there's one series of her books and it's called The Secret Doctrine, and it's like a 6-volume set, and what it does is it explains to you the madness and the fascism of Christianity and how it started. And it tells you what people were believing and thinking and doing before that, which is called Gnosticism. And Gnosticism means knowing. Basically, you knew, you had your own natural knowing and knowledge about the elements of the earth, nature, gods. Everything was, as one Swami said, auspicious. Everything's auspicious. And those Swamis are gatekeepers. These Indian gurus, they never tell the truth. They know black people are the original people. They know black people are the Buddhas. They know they come from black people, but they never tell anyone that. They just talk in mystery and clever, witty quotes and saying you need to be enlightened, and using this concept of, making people believe they can get enlightened, and never telling the truth. Talking about Kundalini energy like it's some special thing that you can get. It's not some special thing you can get. You either have it or you don't. You have it inside of you as an indigenous person. And it's the seed of your soul that is directly from the universe. And only original people, and it's talking about your melanin. It's talking about your becoming conscious to who you are as an original person and as a god. That's what this Kundalini concept is. But, the Swamis, they're gatekeepers just like the rest of them. Just like all the rest of the New Age people talking their shit. Talking about love and talking about positive thinking, which is only part of the science of the universe. But they're not telling you that black people are the originators of all of this. And they're not saying anything incriminating about white people, ever. They're just saying, we are the world, and you should have positive thoughts, and we should live in harmony, and, keep your thoughts positive, and we're all in love, and everything in the universe is good. They never talk about the devils that are in front of us. So anyway, that is a side point. My point is that the word, when you hear the word shadow, it's referring to melanin. My point is, I gave you 2 examples, one from a religious text that talks about shadow. And it says that on Judgment Day, Allah is going to look for, if you don't have the shadow, you're going to get burned up. But they're talking about the Islamic people don't know that is melanin, the original seed of melanin. Number 2, H.P. Blavatsky talks about shadow in her occult books, and in her series called The Secret Doctrine. And she says, as I can quote from Bobby Hemmit, no shadow, no God. So if you don't have that melanin seed, that seed of melanin that's in your pineal gland, that's active and working, because, people want to say, oh, well, the white man, they have it, but it's calcified. Okay, whatever. They actually don't have it, because it's the original seed. They are a hybrid. They are a copy. When you copy something, you don't have the original ingredients in it anymore. You don't have that. I mentioned this before. When you copy a plant, you have weakened its gene line. You have made it more corruptible, made it have less flavor, made it harder to reproduce. But the truth is, it doesn't have the seed in it anymore that is from the universe. I mean, I can't say it any other way. It doesn't have it doesn't have its electromagnetic field that absorbs the sun absorbs the energy from the sun. That's really a technical way to describe it that I came to a revelation about after learning about the electricity of plants by Dr. Sabi. Then when I was researching him and learning the science of plants, then I had an aha moment where I understood, okay, now I understand why hybrid plants aren't good, and why they don't reproduce. Now, yes, they have genetically destroyed the seed of plants where they don't even make a seed. They make GMO vegetables now. You can't even, the seed is not even in there. You have seedless grapes, seedless watermelon. I don't know how this white man fucks up nature like that. I mean, just the idea of that alone should wake you up. Why in the fuck would somebody purpose to destroy nature to the point that the nature itself won't reproduce with motherfucking we're talking about plants, fruits, and vegetables? Why would you do that? Why would you destroy nature? Why would you destroy something that has infinite potential given to it by the universe? That alone tells you the white person is a beast in the negative sense. In the negative sense. Because you might want to call an animal a beast. An animal is beautiful. An animal, I'm not going to start talking about animals, but let me get back around to my point about the melanin. When you hear the word shadow, it's talking about melanin. In Islam, they talk about the shadow. If you don't have the shadow, Allah is going to destroy you. In occult text, H.P. Blavatsky, which is a female, she says, no shadow, no God. And actually, I suspect that this lady comes from black people, to be honest. She comes from black people. I look up her picture, and you can see she has that I want to say coarse, but she has that very wavy, coarse hair. You can take it or leave it, okay? You know what I'm talking about. She has a wavy, coarse hair. I see a black woman through her. And I've been around a lot of Arab people. And there's something I can't quite figure out how they lighten up the genes. But the more children they have, the lighter the color. The lighter the color. And it's from also staying inside. So they make sure they never go outside. And I really mean that. They make sure they do not go outside in the sun. And they're always covered up. So if you have always covered up your kid, if they've never been, bouncing around out in the sun, even if they have some melanin, it's not going to show up. It might show up later in life because that melanin pops out. That dominant gene pops out. Because I'll talk more about that later. Let me get back to what I'm supposed to be doing is decoding Shadow Man. It is a very short decoding, actually. The story is about a boy who is visited by a shadow man. And it's almost like it reminded me of Freddy Krueger. If you know that St. Elmo's, what was it? St. Elm Street. I remember seeing those movies when I was little, but I don't really remember what it was about. I mean, I know I saw it. Maybe I didn't see all of the movies. But no, I remember seeing it, but I can't remember the details of the movie. But anyway, this character is kind of like Freddy Krueger because he has this hat on, but you only see him as a shadow. And anyway, one day, this guy, this shadow man, this scary guy, appears in a little boy's room. He's not a little boy. He's probably like in sixth grade, and he says this to the little boy. He says, now of course the little boy is scared. The little boy's in the bed. But he says to the little boy, I am the shadow man, and I will never harm anyone whose bed I live under. Isn't that great? I mean, I have this, I can even quote what the story was about. I mean, the quote of the shadow man was very interesting. Now, here's the decoding. It's very simple. This is where they, this is where there's, like, they take real science and they reverse it and they flip it. And what they say is bad is good. Please remember that. Make a note of that. If there is anything that they say is bad, the devil is bad, witches are bad, genies are bad, ghosts are bad, blood is bad, bats are bad, snakes are bad. All of the superstitious shit people believe in, you better believe that shit is the natural science of the universe, and it's not bad. It's powerful. It's powerful. It's power, period. So, the shadow man represents your melanin. And your melanin is, one of the qualities of it is your sixth sense. It's your sixth sense. It's, that part of you in your spirit that says, hey, something's not right here. Hey, somebody's lying here. Hey, I just came in the room. Everybody's not talking. That means they were talking about me. Hey, before you go on this trip, bring these new pairs of socks. I mean, it's that the shadow man can be two things. Number one, your melanin, which is your ancestors always talking to you. And by the way I visualize this is your ancestors, they're in the stars, right? They have the 360 degrees of vision to help you do anything. There's nothing that's impossible. Why? Because they can see everything from above. It's not, even they know the future also, because you are just in a finite body and you're not even awake. But they can see everything. They have the 360 degrees of knowledge, and they are not bound by the body. That means they can help you with anything. So I hope for you that you would listen to me now and understand the science of how anything can be possible with the help of your ancestors. Because they can see everything. They can know everything. They can connect you to anybody. So if you need something, don't worry about how you're going to do it. Just say, I need this. And somehow, in some way, it's like playing checkers. You jump here, you jump here, you jump there, you jump here. All right, you become the king. Actually, that's metaphysical too, but I'm not going to, I have to think about it. That game is metaphysical. But I'd have to research that. I don't know if there's anybody that wrote anything about chess or checkers. But anyway, all right, so the shadow man is number one, your melanin. Number 2, your inner spirit. And number 3, your angel, your personal angel. All 3 of those are synonymous. Your own spirit is your personal angel. You can equate that. Then on top of that, you have angels. You have access to angels. You're given it's your birthright to have an angel assigned to you. And to be honest, I'm not sure what mine is. I don't even think about that. I just know that I live and breathe every day by a miracle since I was little. Just the ancestors just keep me going because I'm completely by myself, but I'm not going to start talking about that right now. Anyway, that is the end of the decoding of Twilight Zone, and the episode was called Shadow Man. I didn't tell you what happened at the end. I can't really remember because I didn't watch the whole thing recently. I remember that episode, and I was like, okay, that's the one I can decode because it has a blatant message, it's kind of obvious. I don't remember what happened to the little boy. I think another shadow man came for him. The first shadow man, I think he left. And then I think another shadow man came for the little boy, but I don't remember. Anyway, watch it. Understand the science. And may you grow in consciousness.